Hello everybody, this is my next video on the 1986 Major League Baseball replay through the Strat-O-Matic baseball board game. We're going to be entering into week 2 of the season from April 14th through April 20th. But before we get to the week, we're going to recap our team leaders. In the American League, in the East, we get the New York Yankees at 5-1. The Minnesota Twins in the Central at 4-2. And in the West, the California Angels at 5-1. Over on the National League side, in the East, we get the New York Mets at 4-1. In the Central, the Chicago Cubs at 3-2. And in the West, the San Francisco Giants at 4-2. Let's see if these leaders could hold on to these spots by the end of this week. So with that being said, we're going to enter into the first day of week 2 of the season. Monday, April 14th, Kansas City Royals at the Boston Red Sox. Boston continues their strong start with a 6-1 victory. The Seattle Mariners at the California Angels. The Mariners put up a good fight, but they end up losing the game 6-5, and they also lose third baseman Jim Presley for 10 games. He's expected to return around the end of the month, around April 26th, against the Oakland Athletics. Detroit Tigers at the Chicago White Sox. Lou Whitaker's grand slam puts the Tigers over the Sox 8-5. Texas Rangers at the Milwaukee Brewers. The Texas Rangers rally late in Pete Incaviglia's debut in the outfield, 3-2. Oakland Athletics at the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota's outfielder Tom Bernanski says goodnight to Oakland with a walk-off in the 9th, 6-5. St. Louis Cardinals at the New York Mets. Dwight Gooden shuts the door on the Cardinals, 5-0. Pittsburgh Pirates at the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Pittsburgh prevails 6-4 over a floundering Philly pitching staff. Los Angeles Dodgers at the San Diego Padres. Padres win 9-1. John Kruk, San Diego outfield rookie, is becoming an offensive spark. Baltimore Orioles at the Toronto Blue Jays. Baltimore still rolling with another victory of 3-2. Tuesday, April 15th. Cincinnati Reds at the Atlanta Braves. Dale Murphy's grand slam puts the Braves over the Reds 9-4, but lose Claudell Washington for 5 games. He's expected to return sometime next week, around the 22nd, when they play the Houston Astros. The Seattle Mariners against the California Angels. California wins again behind some strong pitching, 6-2. New York Yankees at the Cleveland Indians. The Yankees destroy the Indians' pitching staff 16-3. Oakland A's at the Minnesota Twins. The A's shut out the Twins and send Tom Bernanski, the walk-off home run hitter from the night before, to the DL for 6 games. He's expected to return sometime at the end of next week, around the 22nd, against the Seattle Mariners. Chicago Cubs at the Montreal Expos. The Montreal Expo pitching shuts down the Cubs 4-1. Pittsburgh Pirates at the Philadelphia Phillies. The Pittsburgh shuts down the Phillies and have a pretty good, decent performance by their pitching staff. They win the game 1-0. Los Angeles Dodgers at the San Diego Padres. LA is still trying to find the right combo in their lineup for a good winning formula, but they still prevail 7-2. Houston Astros at the San Francisco Giants. Deja vu as Astros pitcher Mike Scott blanks the Giants yet again, 7-0. Wednesday, April 16th, Cincinnati Reds at the Atlanta Braves. Cincinnati finally breaks through against the Atlanta pitching in the win 2-0. Kansas City Royals at the Boston Red Sox. The Royals are too much for the Red Sox bullpen, and they win 7-5. Seattle Mariners at the California Angels. The Mariners steal a victory against the Angels 5-4. New York Yankees at the Cleveland Indians. In the Battle of the Negroes, and it goes to the older brother Phil in Cleveland's 7-1 victory over the Yankees and younger brother Joe. Texas Rangers at the Milwaukee Brewers. Texas slowly putting it away and together against the Brewers in a 5-3 victory. Detroit Tigers at the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox win 5-3 behind first baseman Greg Walker's hot start. Oakland A's at the Minnesota Twins. Oakland wins 3-1, and the Twins outfield Kirby Puckett goes to the DL for 3 games, leaving a big hole in her outfield. He's expecting to return sometime later next week, around the 21st, when they play the Mariners. St. Louis Cardinals at the New York Mets. And the Cardinals finally trip up the Mets 4-2. Pittsburgh Pirates at the Philadelphia Phillies. Pittsburgh sweeps the Phillies in the Battle of Pennsylvania 3-2. Two notable things that happened in this game is the second triple play of the year happened when Philadelphia Phillies shortstop Luis Aguayo turned the triple play on shortstop Rafael Belliard. And the Phillies take another blow. They lose Mike Schmidt for 7 games. He's expected to return at the end of this month when they play the Pirates at Three Rivers. Los Angeles Dodgers at the San Diego Padres. LA Bats come up short against the Padre pitching, 5-4. Houston Astros at the San Francisco Giants. Houston finds another way to beat the Giants, 5-4. Baltimore Orioles at the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto turns up the heat on the Birds and beat them 8-1. Thursday, April 17th, Kansas City Royals at the Boston Red Sox. And Royals starting pitcher Charlie Leibrandt shuts down the Bo Sox 4-0. Minnesota Twins at the California Angels. California stays hot with a 2-1 victory. Detroit Tigers at the Chicago White Sox. And yet again, first baseman for the White Sox, Greg Walker, carries them to a victory again in a 7-0 win. The New York Yankees at the Cleveland Indians. And Cleveland continues its home woes with another loss against the Yankees, 4-3. Texas Rangers playing the Milwaukee Brewers, and Texas sweeps the Brewers with a 7-6 victory. And the Rangers are building some confidence with that young team thus far. Chicago Cubs at the Montreal Expos. The Montreal Expos pitching staff stays sharp against the Cubs in a 3-0 victory. St. Louis Cardinals at the New York Mets. The Cardinals are shut down by Sid Fernandez, 1-0. San Diego Padres at the San Francisco Giants. San Diego rookie outfielder John Kruk stays hot against the Giants in their 3-1 victory. Baltimore Orioles at the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays cook the O's 13-1 with a 5-for-5 night from Tony Fernandez, earning the first cycle of the year. Friday, April 18th. Los Angeles Dodgers at the Atlanta Braves. Dodgers stop the Braves in hot Atlanta 3-2. Texas Rangers at the Baltimore Orioles. Texas stays strong against the flightless Birds 5-1. Chicago White Sox at the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox rookie pitcher Jeff Sellers closes book on the White Sox 6-0. Minnesota Twins at the California Angels. The Twins surprise Angels closer Donnie Moore with walk-off victory 2-1. Pittsburgh Pirates at the Chicago Cubs. Pirates pillage slumping Cubs 14-4. Houston Astros at the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati wins another close one, 2-1. Cleveland Indians at the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers' bats are great against the Cleveland Indians in a 12-2 victory. The New York Yankees at the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers halt the mighty Yankees 3-2. St. Louis Cardinals at the Montreal Expos. Montreal finds another way to win, and the Cards find another way to lose 6-4 in 10 innings. Philadelphia Phillies at the New York Mets. New York Mets' Howard Johnson's grand slam adds to the Mets' assault on the Phillies' pitching arms, 15-1. The Oakland Athletics at the Seattle Mariners. A's over M's, 3-2. San Diego Padres at the San Francisco Giants. Giants bats starting to come around in an 8-6 victory. Kansas City Royals at the Toronto Blue Jays. The Royals rule Blue Jays again 4-1. Saturday, April 19th. Los Angeles Dodgers at the Atlanta Braves. LA wins against struggling Braves 6-4. Texas Rangers at the Baltimore Orioles. Texas continues to burn up O's, but lose their catcher Don Slaught for 8 games. Expected return end of the month around the 30th versus the Indians. Rangers win 14-2. Chicago White Sox at the Boston Red Sox. White Sox are cleaner than the Red Sox in this game, 6-4. Minnesota Twins at the California Angels. Minnesota has California's number in a 3-2 victory. Pittsburgh Pirates at the Chicago Cubs. The Pirates Pillage Part 2, 15-5 victory. Houston Astros at the Cincinnati Reds. Astros need a jolt after this loss, 4-3. Cleveland Indians at the Detroit Tigers. Cleveland runs over the Tigers with 5 stolen bases in a 4-1 victory. New York Yankees at the Milwaukee Brewers. The Yankees lose in extra innings, 5-4. St. Louis Cardinals at the Montreal Expos. Cardinals find a W over the Expos, 8-5. Philadelphia Phillies at the New York Mets. Mets are masterful over the Phillies pitching, 7-2. Oakland Athletics at the Seattle Mariners. Oakland's pitching and hitting are too much for the M's, 12-6. San Diego Padres at the San Francisco Giants. San Diego's rookie outfielder John Kruk's first grand slam helps San Diego prevail, 7-3. Kansas City Royals at the Toronto Blue Jays. First baseman for the Royals, Steve Balboni, slams the Jays in the 5-2 victory. And the final day of the week, Sunday, April 20th, Los Angeles Dodgers at the Atlanta Braves. LA sweeps Atlanta out of the park, 3-2. Texas Rangers at the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore battles back in a 7-3 victory. Chicago White Sox at the Boston Red Sox. Boston slumping while the White Sox are slugging, 6-2. Minnesota Twins at the California Angels. Minnesota continues their magic against California, 4-3. Pittsburgh at Chicago Cubs. Cubs remember how to win finally, 8-1. Jerry Mumphrey, Chicago's outfielder, goes 5-for-5 with 5 singles. Houston Astros at the Cincinnati Reds. Houston leaves town a winner, 6-2. Cleveland at the Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers' Dave Engel's triple play of Mel Hall can't stop Cleveland in extra innings, 9-8. New York Yankees at the Milwaukee Brewers. Today must be triple play day as it continues. Third baseman for the Brewers, Paul Molitor, hits into game-ending triple play to Yankees shortstop Bobby Meacham as the Yankees win 7-2. St. Louis Cardinals at the Montreal Expos. Cardinals know how to win in Canada, 7-2. Philadelphia Phillies at the New York Mets. Phillies shock Gooden and the Mets in extras, 1-0. Oakland Athletics at the Seattle Mariners. A's are first against the M's, 4-0. San Diego Padres at the San Francisco Giants. San Francisco loses first base rookie Will Clark for 8 games. He's expected to return at the end of the month versus St. Louis in their victory, 2-1. Kansas City Royals against the Toronto Blue Jays. Royals Rule Jays, and they win 2-0. And that is the end of the second week of this replay. And we're going to have a quick summary to end this week. The top teams: Pittsburgh Pirates were 5-1. Kansas City Royals were 5-1. The Oakland Athletics were 5-1. Texas Rangers were 5-1. The Los Angeles Dodgers were 4-2. And the not top teams for the week: Seattle Mariners were 1-5 again. Philadelphia Phillies were 1-5 again. Chicago Cubs are 1-4. Atlanta Braves 1-4. And finally, the Toronto Blue Jays were 2-4. So that was your top teams and not so hot top teams for the week. And so just like last week, I currently have no standings or statistics until the end of the April games, due to that I started playing before I started posting the videos, and I kept a running total, so I didn't have the weeks separated. So again, I will not have the standings or statistics until we get to that week. But I was able to kind of figure out the division leaders. So at the end of this week 2, we got the New York Yankees in the East at 8-4. And in the Central, the Minnesota Twins are 8-5. And in the West, California Angels at 8-5. In the National League, in the East, we got the New York Mets at 8-2. In the Central, the Cincinnati Reds are 5-5. And in the West, you got the Los Angeles Dodgers 8-5. So this ends another video and another week of the 1986 replay. And I am going to add some more content as soon as I can. And thanks for watching. And remember, play ball.